buying a lunatic's professor and his daughter's book will not really make you do the things that you need to do. You already know what you want to do. You don't need the Hustlers University. You already know what you're supposed to do to get better, to get more successful. The problem is that you don't do it. And it's the same reason why you keep on buying into these self-help ideas, why you keep on buying strategies, why you keep on buying all of these things. It's because you don't understand this simple fact. I've done 1,436 videos, long form videos this year, all without any more effort. It didn't feel like I was doing anything. It felt like I was playing. It felt so easy. I've meditated for more than an hour for almost a year now. I've done all of these changes. I've made more money than I ever made in my entire life. I saved more money than I saved all of my entire life. I've started to make money from so many more things once I understood this one simple fact. I am not special. I am not in control over myself. I cannot do those things. You have to understand that the part of your brain that does the thinking, the part of your brain that does the understanding, the logical part of your brain is not in control. It is very good at looking at things, at understanding, at drawing connections, at doing all of these things. All of the books, all of the courses, all of the things that you've been buying from Jordan Peterson, from Andrew Tate, from Alex Jones, or from whoever you want to buy, from David Goggins. Every book there assumes that you have control over yourself. It assumes that you are special. It presumes that you have willpower out the wazoo. You don't. You don't have anything. And all of them tell you what you should do, and it's always the same things, and you already know what you should do. But you don't do it. That's the problem. Because you don't have control over yourself. Your thinking mind, your frontal cortex, all of the parts of your brain that have to do with understanding and with thinking don't have control over yourself. These parts of your brain have to do with seeing the world, with understanding the world, with making connections and seeing how the world operates. They have no executive function. It is your basal ganglia that does the executive function. The behavior, the doing, the acting part of your brain is called the basal ganglia. It sounds like a fancy dish, but it is not a fancy dish. It is just the part of your brain, the lizard brain, that has to do with doing without thinking. That is the part of your brain that has control in 99.999% of time. But you see, without any more effort than you have to do, without any more work, you can enact change at that level. You can really make things stick. But you have to understand that you have to base your strategy, and all strategies that don't base themselves in this idea that you are not in control will not work. If your base for everything is that you are special and you are in control, and you don't assume that you are not special and you're not in control, all of these strategies will fail. That's exactly why everything fails. Because you assume you are special, because you assume you have control. If you went from the assumption, not just belief, but assumption, and you build from there, what do you do now? What do you do when you don't have control? What do you do when you have a limited, so small, minuscule amount of willpower, of control over yourself, of determination? What do? You go beyond rationality. You go beyond belief, beyond all of these things. You have to overwhelm all of these things with repeated action. So much so, because all of your bad habits, all of them, do this to you. It is your bad habits that will teach you how to enact change in your life. Understand that you open your phone more than 100 times a day. More than 100 times a day. That's enough repetitions to build 3 habits every single day. 3 habits. And it takes literally no effort to open it. Literally no effort to do it. And you are not doing the same strategy for getting yourself addicted to the good things. You're not doing 100 repetitions a day. And it doesn't take effort, more work to do 100 repetitions. It actually takes less effort. It actually feels easier to do 100 repetitions than to do 1 repetition of 5 hours. Divide that hour, those 5 hours, divide them in 100 repetitions, and you will have a better experience. You will have so many more repetitions, and you will drill down into your head. If you keep it up every single day, do as many repetitions as you can, repeat it obsessively until you see yourself and you find that you have no control over whether or not you stop or don't, or you do that thing. You find yourself just doing it. All of a sudden, everything becomes simpler. You don't need to put in any effort. You don't need to do anything because you start doing it, because you've trained yourself so deeply. You've gotten yourself addicted, just the way you did to chain smoking, to eating bad food, to all of these things. You got yourself addicted by repeating that pattern so many times, thousands of repetitions, and doing it over and over again until it's now controlling you. And it has been controlling you for the longest time because we can go directly to that part of our brain. We can enact change at that exact part of our brain if we understand how to do many more repetitions. Enough repetitions to have that so deep ingrained into our behavior, into our executive function of our brain, and into our basal ganglia, that we enact change. We have a deep identity level change. We understand that in order to do that, we have to assume that we have no control over ourselves. I am nothing special. I'm actually worse than most people when it comes to doing things. But I understand that I'm worse and I don't have any control. And I have to do all of these things in order to not need control, to not need to make myself do things. I don't need to make myself do things anymore. I don't feel any resistance towards doing the things that I want to do because I have thousands of repetitions. And those thousands of repetitions can be built in literal days. Days. It doesn't have to take years. It can be done in days.